This Saturday, April 5th, in Washington, D.C., there's going to be thousands and thousands of people marching against what Trump is doing. And look, I know that there's folks out there saying black people should not be a part of taking to the streets against Donald Trump. That black people should stay home and be safe. But let me tell you this. I'm down with your movement. You can't be safe with a fascist regime out to lock down its hold on power. Do not tell me that this is not black people's fight. They are kidnapping students on campus, abducting them and throwing them into detention camps, planning to deport them. He's got his modern-day slave chasers, ICE agents, rounding up young men who have tattoos saying that they are domestic terrorists, and he's sending them to a hellhole prison in El Salvador. If you stand by and let that go down and say that isn't your fight, then you got to question whether you got a heart, whether you got a conscience. And look, here's the other thing. Trump, he's already let you know he hates black people. Think about what he said about immigrants coming from shithole countries. What countries was he talking about? Countries in Africa, countries in the Caribbean, countries in South America. If that's what he thinks about the countries that so many black and brown people's ancestors have come from, what the fuck do you think he thinks about you? You should know he's a genocidal racist. And when a genocidal racist is in power, you do not want to sit back and watch while he consolidates that power and is able to do whatever he wants. Because you will be on the list of people that he's going to target. You may be third or fourth on the list, but you will be on the list. And that means that the strategic thing to do is to stand up and fight right now. Join us this Saturday, April 5th. Join us in going down to Washington, D.C. Join us in saying, no, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. Trump must go.
Where are the hands-off protests and where are the black people?
The hands-off protests are telling Trump and Musk hands off of our democracy, and black people are exactly where they should be.
There's thousands of people gathered in every state, but I barely see any black people. So how are they where they should
There's
be?
a mix of people on the streets, but black people know they're trying to get lured into the streets so they can call martial law on them or hurt black people.
When has America ever had a history of hurting black people? What's the problem with black people protesting between other people?
Because every time black people fight for human rights, it's a problem. But every time white people do it, nobody seems to get hurt.
But that implies that some people have a privilege. Y'all know that's not true. How do black people know to stay home when everyone else knows to protest?
Because here in the United States, over here, we're actually united.
What does that mean?
White women said they got it this time.
There's more than 1,400 hands-off protests across all 50 states in America.
How are you all this coordinated?
I bet you're getting paid money to show up in buses to protest.
No one's getting paid money to fight for human rights or to care about other people or their own rights.
Millions of people are protesting in America with established roles, all united and working together. They're all getting paid. This is illegal.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's too late. Real patriotism 2025. We need to release Derek Chauvin. This is the worst day.
Hey, what's up fam? Welcome back to another episode. So yesterday was April 5th, the March day. The turnout was so good. A lot of people came out in large numbers to protest, but black people stood on their ground and confirmed it that actually they were not going to march. And they did. They didn't go out to the street to march. Only a few of them went to the street to march, and when they were asked about why they betrayed other black community by going out to march instead of resting like other people, they gave out their responses, of which I'm about to play for you so that you can listen to what they had to say. So let's dive in and check how the protest was, because the turnout was so huge. And I saw a white person, a white folk, slapping another white dude. What if it was a black man versus a white man? What could have police done? Anyway, let's dive in.
I've heard that there are people protesting. There are protests going on. 1 million man march all over the United States. What about 1 billion? I would have had 1 billion. If I was having a march, it would be called the 1 billion man march. The 1 trillion man march. Like I did on January the 6th. You guys remember that little march? I think I've had one of the most successful marches against the government that anyone's ever had, and it was on January the 6th. Bigly. Hello, your little April the 5th march. Won't do anything. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. No one cares about that. No one cares about the little march you guys have planned. I think it's really stupid and I don't really understand what you hope to accomplish. The blacks aren't coming. The blacks have already said that they're not going to be there, and we all know that without the flavor, there is no dish. Hello, excuse me. Without the seasoning, there is no sauce, as it were. And we know who's got the sauce. The blacks! Bigly. The blacks have the sauce, and they're not coming to your little march, so it's basically not even real. I'm not even counting it as a march. If you wanted to have a march, you should have had it in March. It's April now. It's too late. It's too late for marches. Marches are for March. And it's April now, and you guys are missing the whole point of everything. Bigly. That brings me to my next point about the Gold America card. This is the Gold America card. For the low price of $5 million. $5 million. It's going to get you everything you need to get into the United States. You don't have to pay taxes. You get 2 broads apiece from any of your local red light districts, depending on where you want to relocate to. We're going to make sure we set you up with dames and that we take their names. Bigly, we're going to do that. Bigly, we're going to provide for you with the Gold America card, everything that you're going to need to be successful in America. That's totally important. I'm the only one that's ever done it. I'm the only president that's ever thought of this. Innovative, really. I'm one of the most innovative presidents that has ever existed. Bigly, you're welcome. Perhaps you can get off the back of Elon. You guys know how I feel about Big Lonnie. Is what I like to call him, Big Lonnie. And hopefully this nonsense will go away. I'm selling my Gold America card to the best and the brightest in the world, and that is for whoever has $5 million. And you can make your cash, check, money order out to Big Team Money, Big Trump Dog. You guys know what it is, and you know I don't play about mine. I gets it done. I does what needs to be done. Bigly, I do that. Bigly, I always will. Gonna be bigger, better, faster, stronger, tougher. Stronger than Justin Bieber's love for Selena. Bigly it is. Stronger than Wendy Williams' guardianship over her mental state. Bigly. Stronger than the buttons on Shannon Sharp's shirt. We know that guy likes them tight, he does. He likes his stuff tight. Bigly.
So while most people was out protesting for what they believed in yesterday, there was some other things transpiring out there in the streets. Well, I say damn. But as always, when one thing happens, sure enough, something else comes right behind it. Y'all see that shit? Talking about 911. But you got that thing in your hand. As many believe that this is just the beginning of the protest, some are actually wondering how far is America willing to go. With over 6 million people showing up nationwide to all 50 states, I don't believe these protests are gonna stop anytime soon. As they always say, stand up for what you believe in.
As you can see, I'm in the streets of Atlanta. People are upset about what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing to our country. When you see something you don't like, as an American, you can say something about it. That's your constitutionally protected right. And that's what hundreds of people are doing here in Atlanta. They're speaking up against the injustices and the things that are happening in the country. You wanna hop in?
Hey!
What made you decide to come out?
We need everybody. Because this is bullshit and we deserve better.
Exactly. So if you see something going on in our country that you don't like, speak up, use your voice. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are firing workers at the CDC, the people who are supposed to protect us. They're firing people who do cancer research. They're firing IRS agents in the middle of tax season. Also, the Trump tax, and they're alienating our allies with these tariffs. How do you alienate the people who you're supposed to be collaborating with and working with? It's ridiculous and something has to be done. So we're taking a stand against oligarchy, taking a stance against Trump, taking a stance against Elon.
Hey, so look, real quick, this is just covering up where I work because that's none of your damn business. And I don't feel like putting the coat on. Number two, I would just like to say, to see how many people actually showed up outside. When I say people, I don't want to make it a race thing, but to see that the older generation was outside more today than they've ever been outside in the last 20 years is awe-inspiring. Now, yes, it's probably because their Social Security is being affected and the vets are being affected and all this. I understand. But to see them outside, you know how many people fucking spoke to me today like I was a human? How many motherfuckers said, hey, what's up? Grandma G, check me. Oh, where you from? Oh, you from around here? Oh, all right, you cool? Like, but to see this older generation of people that we all had the stipulation in our head were, you know, racist, to see them outside holding every kind of flag and sign you could fucking imagine really put a new fire in me. I swear to God.
As I'm recording this video, April 5th has come and gone. It is now the morning of April 6th. And I just have a couple of observations and questions about the protests that were held on April 5th. First of all, Black folks, collectively, we understood the assignment and we did not put our Black bodies on the line. We stayed at home. We spent time with friends and family. We got our rest. That is a powerful form of protest in and of itself. Many people don't realize that. Number two, to the organizers of all the massive demonstrations that occurred on April 5th, you all got quite a turnout. I'm watching some of the video footage of it. But here's an interesting observation I want to make about your protest on April 5th. It's interesting that it was held on a Saturday in downtown corridors. Why is that interesting? Because most businesses are closed on Saturday and the traffic is very low. Very little disruption on a Saturday. So the crowds gathered and held up signs and you all chanted. Something else I noticed is the lack of response from law enforcement. The boys and the girls in blue, I didn't see any of them in the footage that I saw. I'm sure there were some there. But militarized gear, tanks, riot gear, tear gas, rubber bullets, people being pushed down and dragged off in handcuffs, I didn't see any of that. In fact, the tenor of most of the protests on April 5th that I saw and witnessed was more like a party, a big powwow. Not impressed. And my question to you all is, I know that you're reveling in your self-congratulations and you're busy patting yourself and others on the back. What's next? You all didn't bring that January 6, 2021 energy, I see. So what's next? What are you going to do in a voting booth should we have elections, the next election cycle, whenever that may be in your area? How are you going to vote? In your daily life, what are you going to do about the MAGA relatives in your family and in your friend circle, in your coworkers, especially when they get around you and they start spewing their racist and xenophobic ideologies? Well, we protested on April 5th. April 5th has now come and gone. And from what I understand, Agent Orange, and I may be wrong, he was golfing. Unbothered. So, all you April 5th protesters, what's next? Black folks, again, we are doing what we are supposed to do. All we need to do is just keep moving forward. We are protesting by refusing to put our bodies on the line. We are protesting with our dollars. We are protesting by starting businesses and supporting Black businesses. That's how we're protesting, and it's working. Just ask the executives at Target and the board over at Tesla. Very interesting, April 5th. But now that's over. What's next, y'all?
The day that majority of the people were waiting for was yesterday, the April 5th. The turnout was so good. There were so many people who joined the protest. You know, to my surprise, the Black people said that they're resting, but I saw some Black people outside marching, and when they were asked why they were marching, they explained themselves that if they just sit down at home doing nothing, waiting that they are resting, no one will help them fight for their rights, and that's the reason as to why they went out to the streets to march. And again, I don't know if the protest was peaceful, because there is a video I saw. I think I've shown you the clip on one of the clips. There is a white man who slapped another white man. Then I was like, if this white man is slapping his fellow dude, what about the other communities? What will they do to them? Then I didn't see police coming out as many like before, when the black people would go out and march. It was peaceful. What if the black people turned out so that they can join the protest? You know what would have happened, right? Then, to my surprise again, this protest, majority of the elderly people came out in large numbers to protest. They were protesting against Elon Musk. They were protesting against Donald Trump, because you've seen a lot of federal workers losing their jobs. They are being laid off without any prior notice. Imagine going to work, then you just realize that you have been laid off. What's the feeling? You know how you will feel. The veterans losing their benefits, and a majority of them voted for Donald Trump. And now they are the ones going out to the street to protest. I saw a very nice comment, people asking that if now the white people came out in large numbers, who actually voted for him, because they didn't expect that the turnout would be that huge, you know. But still, some of the white people were still asking the black people why they didn't come out. And after all, they have been telling them that, you know what, we're not going to join you in the march come April 5th. Maybe they thought that the black people were joking, until it was yesterday that the black folks didn't turn out. Only a few of them turned out on the protest, you know. So if these marches and protests have started just way earlier, before even half a year, how do you think the next 4 years will be? It will be hectic, I know, because if they have started right now, and white people said that they didn't vote for this kind of stuff. They didn't expect that it will turn out this way. They knew that the government will be a good one. And to my surprise again, there are some white people still saying that Donald Trump is the best president ever. I just saw him taxing the penguins, the uninhabited island where penguins only reside. Then I was like, what, really? So penguins are going to pay for taxes? Or how are they going to do it? Then I saw a certain person created a meme that penguins are now marching to the White House to negotiate about the taxes. Like, people are so creative outside here. Anyway, guys, did you join the April 5th protest? And did people from your state join the protest? How was the turnout? Was it good? Because I've seen a huge turnout from different states. A lot of people actually decided that this is the right time to fight for their rights, for the Medicaid, for the Social Security, Medicare, name them, because they didn't expect that they might be cut. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys, about the April 5th protest. Do you think there will be another protest in the United States like the one people had yesterday? Because there is a question that was rising that maybe yesterday was an off day. It was on a weekend. That's why a majority of the white folks turned out to the protest. What if it was on a weekday? Could they have turned out to protest? So let me know about it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't. We'll really appreciate that. Until next time, guys, see you in our next episode. Bye.